This is a very gentle chair yoga sequence. We will be sitting and standing. The only prop you need is a chair. Make sure it has arms and a back. And with that, let's get started. Begin by sitting comfortably in the chair with both feet planted on the ground. You want to create a train tracks sort of position with your feet and your knees. So first, starting at the toes, check in and make sure the big toe and the second toe are pointing forward, and then also that the heels are straight back, that they're not out to the side. Then checking in with the rest of your body, see that the knee is over top of the ankle, that the knees are about hip distance apart, and you can test by putting your hands into fists and placing them between your knees here. Root down in your seat, shoulders rise and come back. And we'll begin by taking a nice deep inhale in. Exhale, bringing the arms into a goalpost position, sending the elbows all the way back, stopping them at a 90-degree bend. Inhale and rise. Exhale, elbows come all the way back again, really feeling a stretch in the chest and the upper part of the back. And at the base of your exhale, bring your arms all the way down to the chair. We'll bring our left ear to our left shoulder, feeling a stretch in the right side of the neck here. Your jaw is loose. Inhale, bring that head up through center. Exhale, drop the right ear down towards the right shoulder, feeling a stretch all the way from the base of the ear, kind of in the jaw area, down the neck. Good. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Drop the right arm down as the left arm leans across towards the spot where the wall and the ceiling meet. Use your opposite arm just to gently place it on the armrest here. And then you can kind of use it as a way to open your chest up a little bit. So you want to maximize the stretch here. And by doing that, just kind of open it up and come down. Inhale, rise back up through center. Opposite side, reaching for that spot where the ceiling and the wall meet. Gently placing your opposite hands on the armrest, and then maybe using it to help your chest open up just a little. You want to avoid the sensation of like rounding, kind of dumping over yourself. Nice and open, expansive. It also creates more of a challenge. Inhale, arms up. And we'll twist down, draping the arms over the chair. Maybe one hand is placed on your thigh or on the armrest. The other arm maybe on the back of the chair. This is a gentle twist. Inhale, back up through center, and we will twist down now to the opposite side. Very gentle here. You can kind of scan your body to check in with that form we locked in the beginning. So feet still planted on the ground in that train track position, parallel. Knees still hip distance apart. My knees have a tendency to kind of bow out to go a little bit wide, so I always have to bring them back in towards center. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, plant the hands on either armrest and we'll cycle through cat-cow, seated cat-cow. Puffing the chest out for cow. Exhaling, rounding the spine for cat. Finding stillness here, rise back up into seated, bend the arms at 90 degrees and have the palms facing the ground. We will work on lifting the knee up towards the palm of your hand. This helps to wake up the core. And the tendency here might be to kind of round down, but resist the temptation, sit straight and tall and focus on isolating your muscle movements. So only the legs move. Good. And now we will rise. Using your chair as a support here, we will find warrior one. So the leg, you want leg, chair. So the leg that's on the outside is the one that's in front. So send that leg forward as we come down into a warrior one. The key thing to note here on warrior one is that your back foot is pointing in a diagonal, which means your hips are also in a diagonal, but your shoulders are facing forward. You're bending that front leg, and you may need to scoot this foot front or back just so that the knee stays in line with the ankle. You want, if the knee is in front of the ankle, that leads to a lot of pain. Maybe not initially, but eventually. And then just use the chair as support. The free hand can go on your hips. And then we'll inhale, rise up out of warrior one. The back foot spins up, so the heel is off the ground, the toes are on the ground. Both legs straight as we exhale down now into a crescent lunge. This could feel really intense if you have tight hip flexors, so you can also bend the knee here to take off a little bit of that pressure. This pose builds quite a bit of heat, so you'll be feeling the warmth. Good, inhale and rise. So we're gonna bring both feet in a little bit closer. It'll be maybe 2 or 3 feet from one another. This back foot is in that warrior one position. Again, it's diagonal out. So we're gonna rock forward just as though we were gonna step, but instead of stepping, we're just gonna rock on back. Those toes come up off the ground, the back knee bends, front leg is straight. This is a standing splits prep pose. Inhale and rise. That front foot comes all the way back now. Back foot, toes are pointing forward, and we'll rise up into a tree. So you can take your tree however it's comfortable for you. The most stable position is right here where your toes are on the ground, but you can bring this foot up to the inside part of the lower leg, or skipping over the knee, you can also put it on the inside part of your thigh. Using the chair for support here, opposite hand on a hip. I'm gonna take my tree a little bit lower for stability. Regardless of where it is, send your hips forward. That'll help with the stability. Make sure that the quad is engaged and avoid locking that leg. You don't want to lock the standing leg. Good. And coming out of tree, we will now bring the same sequence to the opposite side. So just as before, leg, chair, we want a leg between the leg in front and the chair. So step forward into a warrior one. Key elements are still at play here, so the back foot diagonal. The back foot is totally on the ground. And then the hips out in a diagonal, shoulders forward. Resting one hand on the chair, the other one on your hip. can go as low or as high as you want on this one. Inhaling, rise. Back heel lifts, back toes point forward, and now we sink down into crescent lunge. Option here to also bend this back leg at the knee for a little bit more support. Inhale and rise. And we'll bring both legs in about 2 or 3 feet apart. Back foot is in the warrior one position. And we'll rock forward as though we're going to take a step, and then come on back into a standing splits prep. The toes in the front foot are up towards the ceiling. So you're hinging, the hinge is at your hips. You're hinging over your lower body. So the chest is like, if there were a line, it would go like 3 or 4 feet out in front of you. Nice straight back here. Inhale and rise. And that front foot comes all the way back. Back toes point forward. We'll come into a tree. Just as we did before, you really want to send those hips forward. And your tree can come up as high as you would like. There's a strange amount of stability that comes along with getting tree all the way up here. I actually find it to be pretty stable as long as you can balance on the rooted foot. But I'm going to take tree nice and low today. Good. So coming out of tree, we will come back to seated again. Finding a seated eagle. So begin here with that foundational form we started with before. Big toe and second toe pointing forward, heels directly pointing back, knees about hip distance apart, sitting up straight and tall, shoulders drop away from the ears. So we'll bring the right leg and crossing it over the left. Both arms now come up. We'll cross the right arm and swing it underneath the left for eagle arms. And then from here, hinge forward again, keeping that chest up. There's an alternative here for the arms. So eagle arms or yoga hug. So you really just hug. You want whatever, so like right now we have the right leg on top, we want the right arm on the bottom. So you want them to be able to kiss. And hinge forward. Good, inhale, rise all the way up. Arms come up, leg uncrosses, planting them down again. Now left leg lifts and crosses over the right. Left arm swings under right, or you can find yoga hug. Just make sure that the left arm is on the bottom. Sit up straight and tall, and then hinge over those hips, hinging forward. This is a seated eagle. Inhale and rise. Arms come all the way up. Uncross the legs. Arms will come down. And now we'll reach for our left wrist. So we'll reach down, reach for that left wrist, and then allow the right ear to drop down towards the shoulder. This is a stretch that starts just below the ear, goes down the neck, and then down into the arm. Inhale Inhale, release. Head comes back up through center, and we'll find the same thing now on the opposite side. Inhale, gently release. Head comes up through center. We'll bring our arm all the way up and over for a tricep stretch. So this is the left arm. And then the right hand comes up to push that elbow back. The tendency here is to kind of like send your chin towards your chest, but fight that temptation and lift your head up. This causes you to have a more active sitting position. It also forces you to engage the core because you really have to engage that center of gravity. All right, and release. We'll find the same thing on the opposite side now. Tricep stretch. Bring that head up. Chin comes away from the chest here. Inhale and release. And we'll find a modified yoga mudra. So yoga mudra is when you interlace your fingers behind your back and you send your chest forward. But since we have the back of the chair, we're going to use that. And we'll just reach for the back of the chair so the thumb is on the outside here, the fingers are curled in. And we'll scoot ourselves forward as much as we can. So it actually might make sense, depending on your chair, to scoot forward first and then reach for the chair. And then once we're here, sit up straight and tall. Send that chest forward. If this is too much, you can also do it one side at a time. So to do that, you would pick a side, reach for the back of the chair, and then use the opposite hand to help support you, and then send the chest forward. Good. And opposite side, if you're doing one side and then the other. And release. We will finish up now with some deep breathing. This is a breathing exercise that you can take into your daily life, and it encourages you to take full deep breath, sending the air not just to the chest, but to the entire core here, the entire center of your body. So to do so, grab your forefinger and your thumb and place them at the base of your ribs. So by doing this, you notice that your ribs are in the front, the center, and the back. We'll exhale first, clearing all the air out, and then inhaling, really focusing on that spot where the ribs and the fingers meet. This encourages you to send air to your abdomen, to your sides, to your back. You're really filling your entire chest cavity with air. In and out through the nose at your own pace. With each inhale, sip that air in when you get to the top of the breath. And with each exhale, really squeeze that air out as you get to the bottom of the breath. at the base of your next exhale, plant your hands, remove your hands, and we'll bring our palms to heart center. Namaste.